All right, let's dive into something really unique about Taiwanese road culture. Something that, if you don't know it's coming, can be, well, pretty shocking. And to really get why, I want to start with a true story that just perfectly sets the scene.
So imagine you hear someone screamed this. It's a terrifying thought, right? And it's exactly what a friend of mine thought was happening on her very first trip to Taiwan.
No, really, just put yourself in her shoes for a second. You're in a taxi in a country you've never been to before, and you're pretty sure your driver is having a serious medical emergency right there next to you. What do you even do?
Okay, so here's how it all went down. The ride starts off totally normal. But then she notices the driver is just constantly chewing. But there's no food, no gum wrapper, nothing. She kind of just shrugs it off. But then, out of nowhere, he rolls down the window and spits out this huge stream of bright red liquid. She completely lost it, thinking it was blood, and was literally about to grab her phone and call for an ambulance.
But it wasn't a medical emergency. Not even close. What she saw wasn't blood. He was chewing betel nut, which is a super common sight in Taiwan, but a total shock if you have no idea what you're looking at.
So that brings us to the big question. What is this stuff that can so easily be mistaken for, a crime scene? Let's get into it.
Betel nut, or bienlung as it's called in Mandarin, is basically a stimulant. It's the seed from a type of palm tree, and people chew it kind of like tobacco to get a mild buzz and a little boost of energy. And that bright red color that caused all the panic, well, that comes from a chemical reaction when the nut gets mixed with lime paste and wrapped up in a leaf.
So who's actually chewing this stuff? Well, this is where it all circles back to that taxi driver. It's really popular with people who need to stay awake and alert for hours on end. Think truck drivers, construction workers, anyone on a long-haul trip. You can think of it as a traditional stand-in for a super strong coffee or an energy drink.
I absolutely love this description. It just captures the whole vibe perfectly, right? It's this everyday thing for a certain part of the population, but it definitely has a grittier, more intense feel than a piece of spearmint gum.
Now, here's the thing. You don't just buy betel nut anywhere. It has its own special kind of storefront, and it's a totally iconic part of the Taiwanese landscape that you just cannot miss, especially if you're on a bike.
If you're driving or cycling around Taiwan, especially once you get out of the big cities, you will start seeing them, these little glass booths, almost always lit up with flashy, colorful neon lights. You'll spot them along highways, on winding mountain roads, all along the coast, basically all the places we cyclists and travelers love to explore. They're a huge part of the visual culture of the road there.
So, this is the million-dollar question for any of us traveling there. You see these glowing booths everywhere, but are they for you? Let's say you're on a long ride, you're getting tired, and you're almost out of water. Should you pull over?
Okay, let's break it down. First up, are they open to cyclists? The answer is a big yes. A lot of these stands also sell water, tea, and other simple snacks. Now, for the next question, should you try the betel nut itself? Probably not. It's a really acquired taste, it'll stain your teeth like crazy, and it's not exactly the kind of fuel you want on a long bike ride. But here's the most important part. Can they help you out in a pinch? Surprisingly, yes. In some remote areas, a betel nut stand might be the only place open for miles, and your absolute best shot at getting a cold drink.
And honestly, that's the real pro tip here. Don't be intimidated by the neon lights or the fact that you don't know what they're selling. If you're out of water and you see one of these booths, just be polite, ask for what you need, and you'll probably be back on the road in no time.
But these stands are so much more than just a place to buy a drink. They really represent something much deeper, a whole part of Taiwanese culture.
These little booths are like a living piece of the island's working-class history. Their whole existence is tied to the laborers and the drivers who literally built modern Taiwan. Now things are changing. Because of health concerns and new rules, the whole culture is slowly starting to fade. But for now, they are still a very, very visible part of the landscape.
So the next time you see one of those glowing cubes on the side of a road in Taiwan, just remember, you're not just looking at a shop. You're seeing a symbol of the road itself, a little slice of a culture that was built on long hours, hard work, and just keeping yourself going. Which kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? The next time you're on a journey, whether it's halfway across the world or just across your own town, maybe take a closer look at the things you pass every day. What are the hidden stories, the unexpected bits of culture that the road in your life holds?